Hello and welcome to another home training video. I'm Rhys and I am the technical leader of Norwest Optimist Soccer Club. I will be leading you through a series of exercises today in a home training session all about controlling the ball in the air. So this session is all about ball control in the air. We're going to be using for this session just two household items. They can be cones if you have them. If you don't, just something small that you're not going to slip on and that you won't break. My two items are two different colored items. That will matter when we get to the fitness challenge. That's all we're really using these items for. So if you don't really have anything to use, don't worry too much because it's only for the fitness challenge. And if they're not different colors, it doesn't really matter. It will be helpful for the fitness challenge and allow you to have more of a brain-centered learning experience, but it doesn't matter too much if they are not different colors. The only other thing that you need for this session, other than of course a ball, running shoes, and a water bottle, is some kind of sibling or parent or someone else, a partner of some kind, to throw a ball to you so that you can control it in the air and get more repetition in. If you don't have that, you can also do this session by throwing the ball up to yourself or by using a wall. A wall will be a little bit less predictable and have greater bounces all over the place. So a partner of some kind will be best, but you can also do this throwing the ball up to yourself. So as always, there will be a skills challenge and a fitness challenge in this session. So I hope you are ready to work hard. So let's get right into it. You are going to start about 3 to 4 steps away from your partner, and you're just going to practice controlling the ball in the air by bringing it down, cushioning it down with your right foot to start. So your partner is going to throw you the ball, and then you're going to control it down, pass it back. They can pick it up, throw it back to you to allow you to control it again with your foot, pass it, and repeat the cycle all over again. Now you will see me throughout this session using a rebounder. I do not have anyone to toss the ball for me, but again, you can also do this tossing the ball up to yourself. So I'm just showing you here the exact skill move that we're trying to do. You don't want to kick it up in the air because then that's where the ball is going to go. It's only going to go up. You want to, as the ball hits your foot, you want to bring your foot down with the ball. My foot here is really just like an elevator. As soon as the ball touches my foot, I am bringing the foot down with the ball. You will notice my shape of my foot is also slightly slanted up towards myself. That's allowing my foot to have a little bit more control where the ball's kind of just sticking to it, my foot like glue. A little bit tougher to do, so don't feel any pressure to have that glue-like control that I have in some of these. What you want to make sure with your position of the foot is that it's just not slanted down. It's slanted towards you rather than slanted towards the floor, because if it's slanted towards the floor, it's going to roll away from you rather than you being actually able to control it. So I'm just getting some repetition in here, trying to get as many as I can on the right foot. Ideally, you're looking for 10 in a row. If you can manage 10 in a row, that are really good. If not, just try and get 10 period and try and get 10 really good ones. And when you're ready, you can switch over to the left foot. And you will notice I don't have quite as good control on my left foot as I did with the right. I don't have that same level of glue, and that's because I haven't practiced it as much. So this is exactly why we practice both feet as much as possible so that we can get that repetition with both feet. And I'm not swinging my foot at all. I am just letting it hit my foot and then bringing the ball down. On some of these, you'll see me do a trap as well. That's something that we're going to do later. I'm just doing that in the moment on some of these because of me needing to reach for the ball or me needing to adjust my body position. If you need to adjust your body position and do a different method of control, that's okay, of course. If the toss isn't a good one, feel free, of course, to control it in a different way, but try and get as many as you can, cushioning it down with that left foot. And I say the word cushion because you want to think about it like a couch cushion, something that is very soft. You want your foot to be light as a feather here. As soon as you sit on a cushion, it doesn't spring you back up forward. It lets you sit, and that's what you want ultimately. What you want to do too with the ball here by bringing it down with you. trying to get that glue-like control. And now that I have gone back into it with that practice, it's already improved and I'm able to get a little bit more control than I was before. And again, we've talked about this in a lot of sessions, but that's what happens the more you practice here. The more you practice, the more you become comfortable with these different skills and these different techniques, and the better you get at it. People say improvement doesn't happen overnight. You can see the improvement here just by me doing it a couple of times. And now, once I feel like I've done 10 that are good, where they're controlled, where you bring it into your body, where it's not bobbling away from you and rolling away from you, I'm moving on to a different skill, which is I'm going to be controlling it with my knee. And it's the same sort of thing that we were working on with the feet. You want it to just be a nice, soft control. You're not swinging the knee up, because if you do, that's where the ball is going to go. You can see I'm almost kind of bending both knees sometimes. And on every single one, both knees do kind of have to bend with the hips, depending on the position of the ball as well. Sometimes you don't need to bend quite as much. But I have a little bit of a bent leg in my left one as well, even though the right one is the one that's taking it. And I'm also just keeping my knee very straight. I'm not bending it forward so that I can take it up into my path and let it drop more easily. And as soon as the ball hits my knee, I'm also dropping the knee. So you'll see it here. The ball is going to hit my knee and instantly that knee is going to drop. And I can do it a different way where I leave the knee just a half a second more so that it comes up with me. And you'll see it on these ones. It comes up a little bit with me. But the key is that I don't want to bend my knee forward again. That's where the ball is going to go if I bend forward. I want to keep that leg straight. I don't want it rolling away from me. I want it into my path. So I'm either letting it hit my knee and then dropping the knee so that it comes right down in front of me right away, or I'm holding that knee there just for a little bit longer so that I can pop it up to myself. And if it comes back to you and it's not at the knee, see if you can control it with a different way and try again on the next one. Don't get angry at your throwers for having bad tosses here. Just get as many repetitions as you can controlling in any way, even though we're doing the knee right now and the focus should be on getting control on the knee here. Once I've gotten the hang of it, I'm just now trying to get 10 in a row. If the toss is a bad one, we won't count that. If I control with the knee and it's my fault that I mess up, that's not part of my in a row. I have to start over again. If my knee is too bent forward and it rolls away from me, that's not going to count. I'm just looking for that 10 in a row or 10 good ones in general. If it comes to my left side, I will also quickly adjust my body position to do it with the left knee. That's what we're going to do next anyway, so no shame in trying a few there right now anyways if it happens accidentally. So of course now moving on to the left knee, you'll see different methods of what I'm doing based on where the ball hits me. Sometimes I might have to bend a different way. Ideally though, I'm just able to lift the knee, let it hit me, and then not have any swing, just keep that body position and then let the ball touch the ground again, and then I move on to the next one. And I'll show you a few in the air again. As soon as it hits my knee drops. Or I can leave the knee a bit longer and pop it up a bit more. I want it to hit it on the top of my thigh. People say knee. It is more thigh. It is right where the thigh meets the knee. You're not actually quite hitting it with your knee. And I'm just looking for 10 in a row. One crucial piece here that I haven't mentioned so far is the positioning of my foot that I am not using is very settled. And what I mean by that is I'm leaving it on the ground in a very stationary position with my hips angled and that foot angled in front of me where I want to go. So you'll see here, that foot that's not being used doesn't leave the ground and helps me maintain that balance as I control it with that knee. So the next one here, right foot to left foot, right foot to left foot. You're just getting practice in controlling the ball in the air by not bringing it down anymore, but passing back to the person that's tossing you. And again, if you don't have a partner for this one, maybe you can do this one up against a wall if possible. Even if you have to toss it up for yourself and then do the pass against the wall and then toss it up for yourself again and then do the pass. But we're using the inside of our foot here as we try and do for the most part always when we are passing. The laces is a bit of a different technique. It's used more for power and shots in the air. So I need to adjust my hips, open up the hips a little bit more than if I was just doing a laces pass. And I'm just switching right foot to left foot, right foot to left foot. And on some of them, based on what happens in the moment, I do the laces. It's not as controlled as when I do that inside of the foot. I'm showing you one here with the laces and the difference of the technique. The laces is used for a shot in that kind of situation a lot more, where you want to get the power behind it. A pass, you want to try and use the inside of the foot, not as powerful, a little bit more accurate. And you'll see with every one, I just have a slight adjustment of the feet. I'm almost rocking back and forth here. I'm not shuffling across the room. I could if I wanted to, but it's just a quick adjustment of the feet. It doesn't have to be that much adjustment that you do in between. You're just trying to get the right foot over as quickly as you can when it comes to the right, and the left foot over as quickly as you can when it comes to the left. And you also don't want to lean back here. If you lean back too much, it's going to go high, and if you lean forward too much, it's going to go low and stay on the ground. Leaning forward has its limitations in terms of your power and the angle of your hips by the time you actually want to get it back to your partner. Leaning forward can be useful in some situations, so can leaning back. But for this one, try your best not to do either of those things and keep your body in an upright position to get it back to the person that's tossing for you, and ideally right back into their hands to move on to the next one right away. So once I've done 10 and I feel comfortable with that, I'm moving on to where I'm going to actually pop it up for myself and then pass back. And you can do some on the right foot, some on the left foot. You're just popping the ball up to yourself, a nice little touch in the air, and then passing back in the air with that inside of the foot, just like we worked on in the last one. Nice controlled passes. You're not trying to blow off your parent's head. You're just trying to have a nice controlled, relaxed pass back to them with the inside of that foot. It can be on the ground if you want to take away some of that power as well. And again, it's different from when we were just controlling it, because when we were controlling it, we were bringing the foot down and then passing. Now that we're not controlling and we're actually trying to pop it up in the air, you do want to swing just a little bit, but not too much. And that swing is very much angled towards you and your body position to get it back up. You'll see, because of the way my feet are slanted towards me when I'm popping it up, means I always get backspin on the ball. And if you get backspin on the ball here, that's a good thing. It means that you've done it correctly. If you get more of a forward spin here, it means that the ball is going to be running away from you rather than you being able to control it. And if you need to practice it on your own here, where you throw it up to yourself and then practice popping it up and then passing, that's okay. Practice that if that works for you. This skill that we're doing here, where we're popping it up to ourselves and then passing in the air, this is done more so maybe when you have a defender right in front of you, and controlling it down to your feet won't be advantageous because the defender will now have a greater chance at being able to make a tackle on you. If you actually keep it in the air, you might force them into an error where they have to follow you, or where you are able to control it up and then shoot quicker than you would by bringing it down and having to adjust your body position. So it is used mostly for players when they are trying to shoot, because when you control it down onto the grass and then try and make a pass, a lot of the time you are doing so because you have time and space already to adjust your body position properly and make that pass. When you don't have that time and space because you have someone right on you, controlling it in the air can be a good thing, while giving yourself that split second of time to make a good decision. So with that said, we are moving on to the trap. So the trap involves still having my foot nice and soft like a cushion, but it's a different skill now where I'm actually going to put my foot on top of the ball, over the ball, rather than under the ball, which we were doing for our control, almost like stomping on it. Now be careful here, especially if you're using carpeted floors or whatever, or any kind of floors, because you don't want to break your floors by stomping too hard, of course, and you don't want to, if you're using carpet like I am, sometimes the ball will slip away from you if you don't keep your foot there. So it's really important here to keep your foot on the ball when you trap it down and not release it. This is what's going to happen. If you do release it too early, it's going to roll away from you. You want to follow the ball right down to the ground and stomp on it without slipping. Be very careful here. Make sure your body position is set and that you have good balance on that foot that you're not trapping it with. just see if you can get 10 good ones where you really just trap it down right into the ground. It's not rolling away from you at all. And you leave your foot there so that the ball doesn't bobble up again. It stays on the ground. That's what you're looking for with this skill move. 5 on the right, 5 on the left, maybe 10 on the right, 10 on the left. Give yourself a lot of practice here. So once you have done 10, you are going to be moving on to... It's not today's skills challenge just yet. It is something different. You're going to do almost the opposite of popping it up and passing now. You're going to actually start with the ball. You're going to roll it up to yourself, and then you're going to pass to your partner. Very light inside of the foot pass. Don't take their head off. Nice and careful here. But you're rolling it back, foot on top of the ball, and then as you roll it up, you want to slant your foot again towards you, and it's going to backspin, roll up in the air, where you can then control it and do a pass or even juggle a little bit. Have a little bit of a lift as it comes to you with those toes. Just practice that. Not an easy one. That's why we're doing it though. We're doing it because it's not something that is easy. And this is something that you won't really probably ever use in a game. This is more a skill move to practice so that you can get comfortable starting your own juggles without having to use your hands. It's something that just everyone who plays soccer should know how to do, like juggling is to an extent as well. And this is the key way that you often start your juggling. So, with that in mind, and with that skill move now practiced, you are going to be moving on to today's skills challenge. So, for today's skills challenge, you're going to be controlling the ball in the air from your partner or your wall, and then you're going to try and keep it up in the air for as long as possible. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different levels here. If you can get 5 juggles in a row, you've completed level 1. And if that's all you get, level 1, that's completely fine. That's amazing. So don't worry if you can't get to level 2. Do what is comfortable here for you. Level 2 is going to be actually trying to do 10 in a row. And you'll see, even me, it took me quite a few tries to get to 10. Especially with having to control it in the air, keep it up, and then have a good rhythm here where I'm getting that backspin on the ball and I'm keeping it up in the air. Level 3 is going to be if you can actually do at some point a control with the knee, and it can be either knee. And we talked about how it's not really the knee, it's more of the thigh, but besides the point here, level 3 is going to be if you can do 10 and one of them be a control with the knee as well. So that is what you are doing. Try your best to get to those different levels and get 10 in a row. And once you are ready, once you are done the skills challenge, you're going to move on to today's fitness challenge. So for today's fitness challenge, you're finally going to incorporate those 2 items that you have, and you can put them really wherever you have space. If the room is more narrow and long than mine, you might want to actually put your items, if they're cones or whatever, in behind you rather than to one of the sides of you. And if you have more room to a side of you like I do, then that's what I would do. But what you're going to be doing is you're going to receive a pass from your partner, from your wall, from yourself if that's what you're doing, and then you're going to go to a color that either you call, or if you have a partner, the partner calls it for you. If, for example, my sister was throwing the ball to me, she would then call blue for me, and I would go to blue. And then I would run back, and I would give her a pass, and she would pick it up and pass back to me, and I would control it, and then I would go to the color that she calls again. I'm just using all of the different controls that I've learned of the cushion control with the right foot and the left foot, the trap, using the knee/thigh, and every single time my hips are angled towards where I want to go. Almost every single time. I messed up on some of these. But that is something that's important here. To actually angle the hips, not away from where you want to go, but towards it. That'll allow you to do it just a little bit faster. Not have to do like a spinorama after you control it by facing the wrong way, and then you have to turn around completely the other way. Get it in one motion towards exactly where you want to go. And if that is in behind you rather than to the side of you, then that is great because that allows you to practice controlling in the air on the half turn even more than we're doing right here, which is a difficult skill and something good to practice. So once I have gotten the hang of it and I feel ready to go, I'm going to time myself. And I want you to see if you can beat my time. So I'm going to blue 5 times and green 5 times. And I'm seeing how fast I can do that. And again, hopefully you have someone to call the colors for you so that you're not just making it up on where you want to go in the moment. You have to react to where your partner calls for you. And those of you that are calling the colors for players, make sure you give them enough time to react. You want it to happen maybe even before you toss the ball or as you're tossing the ball so that they can think about the control and then go to there right away. You don't want it to happen after the control because then they won't be able to do it quite as fast. And of course, because it's a fitness challenge, see how fast you can do this. See if you can bring some intensity to the turns. Do those turns way faster than me. I'm a slow poke here. You can definitely beat my time. 5 on green, 5 on blue. When you're done, I want to see your best celebration, of course, as always. Beat my time of 1:17 and show me your best celebration. Oh, and look at me, I am swimming. That's fun. But that is it for today's session. You did an amazing job. Make sure you keep the legs moving. Don't just sit down right away. If you're doing another session after this, that's even more important that you keep the legs moving and not just sit down. But thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. Get a proper cool down in. I will see you all very soon. Have a good one and goodbye.